Hey, TI family, I'm back. Um, Heavy duty attacks, really bad. They're doing this thing where it's like a clenching, um, like a cling. I can't even explain it. Um, Hit with a frequency high pitched earlier on the left side. It's just getting out of control. A lot of forcing. Um, I even have one that is trying to, I guess, program um, that I'm not innocent. Um, it's all being forced, and it seems like out of desperation. A lot of it is desperation. Um, like they're trying to get away with the most. Like a lot of it is being forced on innocence. Also using religion as well. It's getting out of control. A lot of attacks on my energy. It seems like I'm unable to defend myself. Really forcing on the head as well. Things are getting out of control. Uh, like it's ridiculous. The attacks and severity of attacks that I have to deal with um, is not fair, and I shouldn't have to um, deal with them to this extent due to obsession or whatever the issue is not my issue. I honestly feel like um, at times it's entrapment. And the manipulation of my being, my frequency, my emotions. A lot of this is based on emotion, but the thing that they do with my emotions is really sad. Don't want to be a guinea pig. I am nobody's slave. Definitely not a guinea pig. Um, like it's just getting out of control. Like this is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to deal with such extremism. I think with this awakening, a lot of people are having a hard time. Oh my God. They're having a hard time. And we're starting to see their thing. let my people go. Uh, Seems like a lot of rushing, forcing me, trying to rush me and force. Um, I've got a step monitor app, and I used to walk probably on a good day. Hey, Melissa, maybe 2,000, 2,200 steps. Now I'm up to like 4,500, and then some. Um, that's not good. That's not good. Doing a number on my head. Um, it's just ridiculous. They're not allowed to live stream. Why is that? Is that a new rule or law they just made due to what's going on over there? Well, in all honesty, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. And I'm just saying, I think a lot of people are in for a rude awakening. That's ridiculous. That shouldn't be. Yeah. But I just don't trust the media. I'll be honest, and especially media over here. Um, I just kind of got that mindset where unless you really see it, like you just don't know. Um, they want to tell you it's this, that, and the other. And in all honesty, I'll just be honest. I'll talk about that for a second. Biden already started the BS back a few months ago when he stated that Russia hacked into our gas lines. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, same here, Melissa. I've kind of, thought there's certain individuals involved, but overall, I know who they are. And they want you to look to the left, to the left. Oh my god. Yeah, they want you to look over here. Hold on while I go. I gotta go grab my charger box. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, I'm back. All right. So attacks are getting really, really bad as they continue to lie. And then I can't really explain, just reinforcing. I'm honestly just sick of their shit. I'm tired of everybody's BS. I'm just tired of like they've done such a number on me. How can I forgive? I do believe in forgiveness, but after everything that they've done, how can I forgive? If they don't even allow a time and a space to heal in order to forgive, um, it's just, I don't know. The severity of the abuse is just so extreme, and um, it's just ridiculous. And they want to use, certain names to act like they own, and no, they do not. They do not own anything. And they're, doing things with the intent to harm. Yeah, and they keep doing it with me with the intent to harm. And they're, it's not to be taken lightly. This is a terrorist attack. This is an act of war. And everybody's just twiddling their fingers, going, you know, look over here, or, what about food? But what about food? I was just at the store yesterday, and Easter is all, ready to go. Like, I'm sick of this twerp using this heavy duty voice, acting like he's some dude talks like this, right? And I guarantee he's like some scrawny freaking computer geek with some poopy hair. And they want to force things and reinforce it. Like, I'm being attacked so bad. And then they want to hold it in my chest. And, then they want to hold me down and do this nana nana boo boo when they do it. These people need to be locked up. They serve no purpose. My opinion, none, zero, zilch. They're just in the way. They, in all honesty, can't see past their noses. And like, what are you going to do? Give me back? As if I didn't have it because I'm still here? You're going to give me back. That's the only thing you have to offer, is that's it. Swing on parasites. That's all it is. Like, nobody wants their shit. don't even use Amazon Prime. Last time I was on it, I think it was like a year ago. Like, I don't. Like, I'm so sick of it. And them trying to. I'm sorry, my friend. Yeah, they've killed a couple of my animals. I'm tired of them trying to force um stuff on me, including things like, religion, or you can't wear your eyelashes, or just a lot of BS. Like, I don't. I'm sorry that happened to you, my friend. Yeah, I've lost quite a few. I've lost quite a few. Sorry, you guys. Hugs, my friend. Yeah, they keep hitting me in my chest. You guys gotta stay woke. You're dealing with just some nasty bugger Klingons. That's what they are. Out of spite and jealousy. Then I gotta listen to them spit religion all day as they turn down my frequencies. They're monsters. And then I gotta listen to the main one and his heavy breathing. A lot of them sound like, my name is John Michael. Just a bunch of Klingons. Destroyers. Even, they have no respect for anything, any life force. Not even this earth. They don't respect nature. They just want to be in charge of it. And they're always trying to run a guilt trip and just hold it. And they're just snitches. That's all they are, a bunch of like, it's ridiculous. But I've got to endure an encounter, and these guys are just criminals trying to even use religion as a platform to get their way. It's all psychological BS. It's all about what they want. Some of these cowards, they're just looking at it from, a payout. It's just disgusting what these people will do for, things like money and, whatever. Like, it's so disgusting. Like, nothing. And then I have one that just, acts like a little girl for the most part, because he seems like he's a confused individual. But I'm not going to talk about them anymore. Moving along. It's just the attacks are so severe. Like, they want me to perceive myself in a different manner. It's all being forced due to obsession. And how our government is allowing this is beyond me. It shouldn't be allowed. Like, it just seems like these guys just weaponize everything, on innocence. And they're literally trying to get too close to home to really put this, like, turn it into a personal issue. Well, if there's any personal, then the personal is their own. It is not mine. You do not own anything. If you're trying to keep it, then it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to somebody else. And that's God. You might be able to tarnish brass, but you can't tarnish gold. Speaking of gold, nacho cheese. If you're trying to keep something, then it is not yours. They act like they want to exercise their rights. Like, these guys, it's all about a popularity contest too. Like, these guys want to be known for something great. How am I able to defend myself if it's being forced? Stolen. Stolen. It's all stolen. And they want to attack me so severely, I can't even speak. But I will speak and use my voice, even if my voice shakes. These are cowards. Then they want to get too close. They're completely obsessed. They own nothing. They have no ownership of anything. But they want to force this on a female. And then they want to act like demons and monsters. Because they can't own up to their own shit. Who acts like a monster on an innocent female who's only 5'2" and 105 pounds. A coward. They won't even fight me like a man. They think they won. But they'll watch me die like a man. They lost. They're nothing but cowards. I fought tooth and nail. They did it. They didn't. They're cowards. Then I gotta listen to this Marcus individual all throughout the day. You have no idea what I can do. Cowards. They're cowards. They're all a bunch of cowards. They want to keep my energy and everything that I am. And they want to force it. They want me to run. I'm not going to run. Let them run and hide. Then I got the supposedly head honcho, big fat tough guy. He's all talking like this, breathing real heavy. Yeah, he's always talking like this and being a big tough guy. He's this head honcho, like he's calling the shots. They don't own me. Nobody owns me, and I'm going to speak freely because it is my human right. It's called freedom of speech. And I will exercise that right in the United States of America. And if you're not from here, you're not allowed to tell me what I'm allowed to do. Then they want to run a synthetic psychosis as well. I love you too, Melissa. they want to force all of this on me because they're cowards, they're scared. And I gotta listen to your precious, precious. I hope they are beheaded. But that'd probably be too good to be true. I hope they rot for eternity. They're scared of, you know, their own death. These are cowards. They're scared of their own death. They hide from me. Who else do you think they're hiding from? Cowards. These are just cowards. Scared of their own death. They fear their own religion. Trying to dumb me down, dumb my energy down, my frequencies down. All due to an obsession. No, not at all, Melissa. They're cowards. You know, I've got to deal with one that seems like they have some kind of weird crush or something. I don't know. These people are out of control and all their psychological BS. No, they should not. Melissa. They have no respect for life. So it doesn't surprise me. But if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, most likely it's a duck. Oh my God, Melissa, I'm sorry. That's usually the story with an empath. We tend to attract the narcissist. Being full of love and light. Unfortunately, the empath attracts a lot of narcissists who look at us as a recharge for fuel. That's what narcissists do, and to keep us for fuel, um, they will tear you down. You should really do your research on our narcissists and empaths. Yeah, we usually attract the wrong people, unfortunately. So, the empath needs to learn how to get strong and realize that it's okay to say no. You don't deserve to be hurt. You don't deserve to be abused. So that's something that I'm learning on my journey as an empath. Yeah, just like the perpetrators are very narcissistic. They come across as Nazis. But it's quite common for the empath to encounter narcissistic relationships, even friendships. They like to look for a place to fuel up because a narcissist refuses to reflect on self. They're all about deflection. So the best way to handle a narcissist is to not handle them at all. You leave them where they lay. That way the battle becomes themselves. They'll never stop. They're going to continue to do it to other people. You won't be the first or the last, so keep that in mind with the narcissist. Yeah, with the narcissist, you're not their first rodeo. My first voice was actually two. One was a female and the other was a male. But it wasn't, no, I don't think it was AI. I think it was a lot of live, hands-on, probably due to, I'm sure, certain, I'm just going to say certain locations where people just, I'm just going to be honest, don't have a life. um, I could see how somebody, I'm just going to, state this, where it first started, I was located, we had purchased a house for a really decent price. When we purchased it, it was actually towards the winter. The house was, remodeled. It was a beautiful home, but we didn't realize, we realized it wasn't the best neighborhood, but we didn't know the severity until the summertime. Hey, real gang stalking. That's when, the hood gets active. So, that's when it really started to take flight, was back in 2016. Things started to get really weird. The gang stalking got really bad. It was predominantly African American, neighborhood. So, it really it was just a different type of thing to deal with. I guess you could say. But I'm not from there. I didn't know anybody out there, so it made it really difficult. Because I didn't know anybody from there. I'm not even from here, the state. So it was really hard to deal with, not knowing anybody out there. You know, and things just started escalating and getting weird. Where I had encounters with real gang stalking. So the things that I was getting with the gang stalking was they would park. There was a house next door. Nobody was living in at the time. Now there used to be a house next to that one, but I think it got torn down, so it was an empty lot basically, and they would park right there. Then I would have them, they would park on the side of the street on the other house. There was two houses next to me on the other side, and they would park on that side road. And it was just every single day, like constantly. I would get, you know, encounters with, I had my car broken into, nothing was stolen. You know, the side panel door was pulled out of my Mustang. I don't know why. I came home one day and found a nail in my keyhole that nobody had gotten in, you know, because of my dogs. You know, I dealt with stuff like that. I also dealt with my phone. Yeah, same timing. Yeah, I also had encounters with my phone where during phone calls, you know, I had a recording where the voices came out crystal clear, and I heard this guy while the phone was ringing, crystal clear. I had it on recording on my old phone that I still have. But while I was calling my mom, I heard this guy, he sounded like a younger dude. But he was talking to a female and he said, "Is Sierra working?" And the woman sounded real country and she said, "How?" And he said, "Sierra." And then that was the end of it. But I actually reported that to the police. The police addressed it as basically, it was probably just lines getting crossed, this, that, and the other. So I just had to, you know, walk away. There was nothing I could do. Yeah, same here, Melissa. Yeah, real gang stalking. Yeah, basically, it was just intimidation tactic. Now that I look back, I'm not intimidated. Because if they try to break in my house now, um, yeah, it'd be a different story. But back then, I didn't understand what was going on. And I was being, you know, I don't want to say gang stalk heavy, but I was considering, you know, it was a very small town. Um, you know, I would imagine that if it would have happened in a bigger city, I probably would have been hiding in my closet. Yeah, but it was pretty bad. The gang stalking there was pretty intense for the most part. But once again, I didn't know what was going on, so you know. You know, and it seemed like my neighbors at the time, I can't even explain it. Yeah, they were just real active and Yeah, Melissa. Like it was just really, really weird. The whole scenario. Like when it really took place, it was like new people started, moving around, and I had an altercation with one of them, like on foot, and where it was supposed to be a confrontation, but she wasn't confronted. She got scared, um, and I never saw her again. Like I would see her there, but I never saw her again. Like she completely just disappeared. Definitely cowards. Yeah, Melissa. The things that they did to me back then is unforgivable. Mm, no, they didn't slander my name until later on, but they still couldn't even do that because I'm very honest. I'm a very honest person. Like, especially somebody from the hood, you can't judge anybody if you're in the hood. Like, you're not in the suburbs, so who are you judging? Like, these guys are really trying to get rid of me. Like, the attacks are so bad. Um, they tried real gang stalking. This has been my whole life. I can remember this stuff since I was 3. But as far as that mental health, they tried due to something I won't talk about on here that happened to me when I was a teenager. It was quite a traumatic experience. So naturally, a human being, when they experience something traumatic or something that hurts them, um, you're allowed to have emotions, coping mechanisms, um, you know, as far as like emotions go. So I was sent to counseling. They tried to label me with things like ADD, but I didn't suffer from any bipolar, manic depression, nothing like that. I was just a product of, certain encounters that was traumatic, and it was caused by other people. That's all I'm going to say. So I dealt with it like a teenager would. I mean, it's kind of expected. They want to try to label the youth and younger people who experience traumatic experiences as something is wrong with them. No, what's wrong is the person that did it to them. There's nothing wrong with the victim. It's what the person did to the victim is what's wrong. So I was labeled with things like ADD, also OCD, which all these things I took control of as I got older. Um, they did the pharmaceutical thing on me. I don't want to say I was rebellious, but I didn't like the way it made me feel. So I refused it because it had a different effect on me, to the point where they even put me on a medication. I felt like I was being used as a guinea pig almost. Seizure medicine for seizures, in combination with a medication that was to treat things like ADD and OCD. But my OCD wasn't bad. It was just a cleansing of hands and feet. And now that I look back, I'll be honest with you, it seems like I was just cleansing energy. So they always like to do that. They like to, focus on the victim and throw them in there rather than focusing on the actual issue. And to recover from any kind of trauma, it starts within. Putting a band-aid on it and saying, hey, now you got to go here and here's some meds, like that's not, going to treat the actual issue. I think, some spiritual healing, love, and some TLC will treat the issue. It eventually stopped, Melissa. Not really sure as to why. I'm assuming because the town was so small. It started to get out of control, and the town was so small that I lived in. It happened in Decatur, a town called Decatur, and it was really, really small town. So, I'm assuming that's why. Because then it ended up being this. Once I started getting hit, it was a different story. Once I started getting hit, it was, it seemed like everything started to change. But the gang stalking stopped, I want to say back in 2018. Yeah, real gang stalking. I agree 100%. It's real hard to know when, but it went over, I want to say 2015, 16. I really noticed it 2016, where I was like, what the hell is going on? That's when it really started to, you know, I didn't understand what was going on. But there was definitely some strange individuals um, that lived in that area. A lot of strange occurrences, happened in the Decatur area where, where people were always outside, um, wearing, red, black, and I wasn't sensitized to colors because I love all colors. Um, but it was just quite obvious. How much did those cost? Because there are a lot of things that I don't show just due to the severity of my targeting. But the whole license plate thing, I get the Kia Souls. I also get the tow trucks with the cross on the back. Um, I'll have to look into that real gang stalking. I'm also gonna get some dash cameras due to the 2 car wrecks I was just in a few weeks ago. I also want to get cameras put inside the home. Um, but I don't know if that's a good idea considering. Um, yeah, I used to get that. I get mostly, yeah, I used to get that a lot, like in the beginning stages. But how I perceive the number 6 is not with fear. So that too, you got to keep that in mind. If there's fear there, you'll perceive things a little bit differently. So I actually looked at the number 6 in a different matter. Hey, Murray. So I gave it meaning, which was stop worrying about your finances. Like every time I would see the number 6, it was because I was too focused on money and stuff like that. Yeah, Murray, my attacks are really, really bad right now. Yeah, they want you to perceive things with, fear. So don't do that. So the license plates that I get, I just laugh at, but I'm going to start taking videos so people can start seeing what I'm talking about. So they pretty much mapped out a lot of my patterning. So there'll be like a Kia Soul there, and like it just gets out of control. Then I have the coward always saying, "You don't want to go to war with me." Yeah, I'm definitely going to start taking video so people, because I got a lot of TIs who only get the gang stalking and the Kia Soul standing for, my soul, like their ritual BS. A lot of it is just like satanic occultist crap, or they'll do the crucifixion tow trucks with the cross on the back, which I get those quite often. They used to use a lot of fire trucks, ambulances. They're making me cough a lot, you guys. Sorry. Yeah. Matter of fact, I have to go get a money order here in just a few. So I'll definitely take some video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it gets out of control. I used to get the hearse um, a lot. But you got to remember, a lot of things are based on algorithms as well. Um, But, I'd get the helicopters. It was just out of control. Like, it was definitely, like, I would walk around and just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it would just be out of control. The gang stalking was, it'd get pretty bad where, I'd stay up all night trying to, um, watch what was going on. I even set up camera. Like, it was really bad in the beginning. And then I even had them like going into my backyard. So yeah, I did. Real gang stalking. Yeah, I did. I actually got a pit bull. He was a rescue that I put in the backyard. So that stopped. They stopped coming in my backyard. He was about 88 pounds. That kept him out of the backyard, which I thought was real funny. Some of them looked like they were on crack. Some of these gang stalkers, where I was like, what the hell? They look like zombies. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, some of them look like they were, pretty doped up. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they look like they were on something. They did not look normal. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Criminals, just people that are willing to do anything for something. You know what I mean? Um, like, when it first started, a majority of these people looked like they were involved in shenanigans and just survival, basically. Some of my two of them in particular looked like they were on some heavy duty drugs. Yeah, yeah, they looked like they were on some heavy duty stuff. And then the Caucasian female, um, she just looked like she was accustomed to the hood, and possibly drugs were involved as well. Um, oh yeah, especially out here. Well, out there in Decatur, they were definitely compromised. Um, you know, definitely were easily used for sure. Even that town has a history of survival. I mean, it's that whole town was burnt to the ground during the Civil War. Um, Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I agree 100% with that one. Yeah. It's easy to feed a bird crumbs, you know, just how I look at it. I grew up in some pretty rough areas. Um, I've experienced all walks of life. I also grew up in, the suburbs. Um, my family worked really hard to get what they have. I've even lived in, the hood in Toronto, believe it or not. I've lived upstate New York. I've lived in Philly, West Coast. Um, I've lived up north. I've lived down south. I lived in, other countries, and I've, experienced a lot of things. So I will say this, there's no excuse in my book. No excuse. No, not Canadian at all. My dad, is from New York. My mom's from Philly. Um, and my dad wanted to live in Toronto due to his job, and he was he played hockey, so it was kind of a win-win. So I got to experience, that lifestyle. The gang stalking, it was just mostly um like they would just talk shit, and I was I don't want to say I was confrontational, but I wasn't scared. So I think that that's possibly why it died down too, is because, I was standing my ground, and I wasn't letting it, you know, I wasn't letting them bombard my house. Like I stood my ground. Um, and I'll be honest with you, I think they had to use African American to match my energy because my energy is so strong. I'm definitely dominating with my energy in alpha. Um, I'm a leader. I'm not a follower at all. So I stood my ground, and I think that's why. Um, but when people started moving in, that's when I started to question, something's going on. Yeah, it will toughen you up. Yeah, for sure. But like if they did the gang stalking on me now, it wouldn't have any effect anymore because I'm a peacemaker. I don't want to argue with people. I mean, I've been through so much with this BS that I don't want to argue with anybody. I'm just a tree in this world, and that's it. That's all I am, you know. And it just sucks because I have all these different, I'll just say entities, that, I guess because of their perception and views, they have different expectations. And even in society, just life, and, I can't fit their whatever. So, you know, I am who I am. and that's all I can be. To expect more from me, especially after everything I've been through, is unrealistic expectations. I do real gang stalking, but how I'm very much an introvert after I've experienced my me being an extrovert with this world and society. So when I come home, I very much enjoy and like to be by myself. But I do have many friends, and most of my friends, thank God, are spiritual. They are woke or, um, you know, so I'm very grateful and fortunate in that area. Like I had one that came to see me at work yesterday because it was so slow. So we sat down and had a conversation for about 30, 45 minutes, just about, what's going on in the world and spiritual convos and, conversations. And it's always an enlightened conversation that I have with most of my friends. So I'm real lucky. But my encounters with, most humans is, a very limited conversation, due to their experience with, just being about work and politics and this, that, and the other, which I really just have no interest in. Real gang stalking. So you're still getting the gang stalking? Is it like amplified or is it still the same? I know a lot of TIs are complaining about their targeting is definitely ramped up just these past few weeks. And I'm pretty sure with, what's going on in the world right now is a perfect opportunity to, you know, oh, wow. Now, the house bugging, real gang stalking, I highly recommend getting a large pool, rare earth magnet. You have to get the large ones. You can't get the little tiny. I know a lot of TIs use the little tiny one. That's not going to have an effect. You got to get the large pool. If it's not pulling at least 100 pounds, it's not going to have an effect. But if you get a couple of those and put them in your house and around your house, it'll dismantle any kind of bugging whatsoever. Just keep it away from your phone. Yeah, real gang stalking. Get you the rare earth magnets with a large pool. It can't be the tiny ones. You got to get the big ones. Usually the big ones are shaped like cubes or rectangles, and those poles will knock out anything. You just got to get at least two. But don't put them next to each other. You'll break a finger while holding them. I promise you, that's how strong they are. Keep them away from your electronic devices and your cell phone. It'll destroy all of those things. But you never want to use them together because if you're holding one of those, it will break a finger. That's how strong they are. I almost lost my finger due to putting them close together. But you'll want to get the bigger ones with a heavy pull. You can find them on Amazon. Yeah, they do that to me, real gang stalking. They like to attack. Vulnerability is key. And I think different brain wave states is why they come in for the attack. So I'll make a perfect example. Right when you're falling asleep, or right when you're waking up, even when you're sick with a cold. So when you're sick with a cold, it's almost like you got the brain fog, different, so they come in for, it was perfect opportunity to do this. Yeah, real gang stalking. I highly recommend the rare earth magnets with a heavy pull. So what you could do if you could afford it, I've already recommended this for a lot of people. If you're a TI with extra finances to spare, it might cost you $100, just a little bit more, maybe 140, 50. But I recommend getting 4 strong rare earth magnets, putting them in 4 corners of the smallest room in the house, then putting 4 of them in the 4 corners of your ceiling. And that should give you a pretty cool magnetic field and a pull. Because I've had a lot of experiences with those magnets and my targeting, and they do work. I would even recommend, if you want to take it up a notch further, do what I just said and put a pretty decent sized one in the middle of the room. Somehow you'd have to glue them to the 4 corners of your ceiling, and then just put 4 in the 4 corners of the floor and put 1 in the middle of the room. If you can afford it, I highly recommend it. Like, seriously. I've had some pretty interesting experiences with those magnets that do have an effect. Because you got to remember, you're dealing with EMFs. So if you do your research on the rare earth magnets, it's pretty interesting, but it does have an effect. Yeah. The scrambler might have a minimal effect, because you got to remember what kind of weapons you're dealing with. But I would definitely recommend those rare earth magnets, because they do create a field. My experience with them has been pretty interesting. But I haven't found anybody who's willing to try. Just due to my finances and my bills, I haven't been able to afford to buy a total of 8 of them. But if somebody out there who's a TI that can, I would definitely experiment with that and share your experience with the rest of the TI community. I honestly, the Faraday cage thing, not buying into it. You would have to use something that emits some kind of field, because you're dealing with frequencies. You're dealing with frequencies that I'm sure at a very high pitch could, do some pretty interesting things. So you would need something that can create a field, an electromagnetic field. So I think one way to do that, probably, I think in order to do that, your safest and cheapest route would definitely get to purchase rare earth magnets, but they have to have a heavy pull. Some things that might minimize damage are those grounding, I forgot what they're called, grounding straps that you put on your shoes. Any kind of grounding material is just going to minimize. It's not going to stop it. I'm here to tell you that, 2 years ago, I was in Carlsbad, New Mexico, middle of the desert, no signal for miles, and went 850 feet below the surface down a cavern, and I was still being hit. Grounding and keeping up with your energy is key, and being one in spirit is definitely key. But as far as these frequencies go, you would have to put up a pretty heavy duty Faraday cage that's built like a tank. I hear all these TIs like, oh yeah, this works, that works. Or, hey, I'm going to try a Faraday cage. And I'm like, I've locked myself in a tornado shelter that is built of very heavy duty, thick steel that they sell at Home Depot for almost $5,000. And it didn't work. I mean, that thing is supposed to withstand a tornado. The thickness of that metal was just incredible. But I will say this too, closed air spaces. So something about closed and in tight spaces that are also quite difficult, because I've actually 2 summers ago went to it's a beautiful creek. It's pretty famous on this side of the state. About an hour away, it's called Turkey Creek. Crystal clear waters, but there was this big boulder, and as I was leaning up against it, there was a waterfall in front of me, and it completely diluted and eliminated the V2K. It's called, here, I'll put it in the chat, Melissa. You can't get the small ones. The small ones are not going to do you any justice. Don't, my mom would say, her exact words would be, don't pussyfoot. If you're going to do it right. Don't get the tiny ones. You have to get a large pool. So they have ones the shape of squares, and rectangles are the ones that I dealt with. You have to get a heavy duty pull in each of them. Those little tiny circle ones are not going to do you any justice. The bigger, the better. We'll give you a bigger field. I see a lot of TIs, using these tiny little ones that they get at Home Depot. That's not going to do anything for you. All that's going to do is piss you and them off. Like, you want to get a larger one. That way, you have a field. You're going to want to put 4 of them in the 4 corners of the room. I prefer the smallest room in your household, and 4 in the ceiling. If you have more money to spare, you'll put 1 extra one in the center of the room. That should give you a pretty good, decent, pull. Yeah, Murray. Yeah, you're going to want to get a heavy pull. Don't go with those small rinky dinky ones unless you're protecting a mouse. They have some for $27.99 a piece. I recommend the cubes. Some of them are expensive. I won't lie, but there's some that are $24.99. Some that are $23.99. There's one that has a 2,000-pound pull for $68.95. I would imagine that if you put two of them in a small room, like one on one side of the wall and the other on the other side, you'll probably have you a little bit of relief there. The pull is the pounds that the magnet can pull. So if you put the magnet on something, if it only had a 20-pound pull, it can pull 20 pounds. No, the pull, Pull. So if a magnet has a 200-pound pull to it, it can, hook itself to the 200-pound pull and actually pull it or lift it. See, you want to go with the strongest pull. That's why a lot of these TIs, they get real confused. They want to use those tiny ones. Well, it's not going to pull anything, but ruin any kind of electronic devices you have in your house that are real small, like a cell phone. It'll ruin the camera. That's about it, and probably the circuit board. Yeah, you'll want to get a large pull on these earth magnets. I've already done that where I've used the small ones. Now, when I started using the bigger ones, and I lost them somehow during my travels going back and forth to Florida, they did work. They had an effect. I saw the effect. And I knew had I gotten more, that it would probably definitely have more of an effect.
Yeah, probably. Rare earth magnets. Here, I'll put it in there. That's what they're called. They're rare earth magnets.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten out of control.
where some of these, I'll just refer to them as beings, are even so much obsessed with my looks, the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I walk. Some of them remind me of the evil stepsisters from Cinderella. Some of them just remind me of little kids pitching a temper tantrum. You know, it's just out of control. Yeah, the Faraday cage, unfortunately, I'm just going to be honest. It might minimize, and I stated this before, it might minimize, but I would really, a cheap Faraday cage, and I've said this before with the rare earth magnets, and has a heavy duty pull and creates an electromagnetic field, would probably be your best bet rather than spending thousands of dollars on something that's only going to, I'll be honest, minimize. Because like I said before, I've crawled down a cavern, and that cavern I think was like 200 million years old, in Carlsbad, New Mexico, in the middle of a desert with no signal for miles. Literally, I crawled 850 feet down that cavern and was still being hit. Yeah, I've heard of several people mention that it didn't work for them, that it only minimized it. I've never used a Faraday cage myself personally, but I have heard other people stating that, the only thing it did was piss them off. So I'll just be honest, you're dealing with some heavy duty technology. So, any kind of like, I would imagine like acoustics and stuff like that. Um, I would definitely recommend also, I think it's called acoustic shielding, the same kind of padding, padding that they use in recording studios. I would recommend those too. And I think those are only like $20 a piece. You could probably buy them in like bulk for a pretty good deal. But I would imagine that those have a pretty good effect. But I'll be honest with you, I'm going with the heavy pull rare earth magnets. But you would need more than at least two, like two minimum. And they'd have to be a pretty heavy duty pull. But, right now, I can't afford it because my bills, my immediate bills that are absolutely necessary, you're talking like $1,200, $1,400 a month. So, I do the best that I can. But I think next week, maybe I'll be the one to test it out and show everybody, put some money aside. Yeah, I would like to see, I'll have to look it up on YouTube and see somebody using one. I've seen the one that I saw, it was like this happy couple. They look like hippies and they're like, we're happy and pleased with our Faraday cage. You know, and I mean, they didn't look like they were Target. I mean, they were like so happy go lucky. They look like, you know, they probably grew their own weed. Like they were older. And they stated it worked, but I want to hear from a TI that is like, being, hit. Yeah, see, that's the one that I saw, and I'm not buying into it. I'll just be honest with you. I want to hear from a TI that, like us. It's like, yeah, it works, guys. Because I'll just be honest, I can't afford, $4,000 or $5,000 to spend. But however, building, I mean, if you just put the science together and do your research on the rare earth magnets and the heavy pull and the kind of field that it would, create, I'm pretty sure it will have a pretty good effect. But I see a lot of TIs with these tiny, the small circle ones. I'm like, the only thing that's going to do is fuck up your camera on your phone and probably the circuit board. I mean, that's about it. So if you got signals coming from your phone, yeah, go for it. All right, I'll have to look into that as soon as I'm done running my errands. There to take my mom to her appointment. It should be fun. The other TIs I actually cross paths with quite a few on Facebook. I link up with TIs that get the same stuff as I do. I don't really link up with TIs who are just getting the one headlighters, or I'm just getting a buzzing on my foot. Like, well, must be nice. Try not being able to walk, talk, or see. Yeah, no, I get hit like I'm fucking Godzilla. I've had them hit me so hard one day at a gas station. I was standing in line and I almost collapsed. It was like a big bunk. It felt like I got hit in the head with a hammer. It was like boom. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's definitely comes across as hate crime for sure. Let me turn my Bluetooth on. Hopefully it's working. I'll take my mom to her appointment. Yeah, same here, Monarch. Yeah, I do. I'm vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for quite some time. And I take as many organics. If you're a TI who gets hit pretty heavy, I definitely recommend things like turmeric, cayenne pepper for the heart. If you're not willing to take cayenne pepper, you better get you some hawthorn pills and ashwagandha root for the brain, calcium, magnesium to keep the bones in good shape. You're definitely going to want to drink lots of water, and not just any kind of water. I mean, do what you can, what you can. For myself, I don't drink too much pH balanced water. I need that balance of hydration. So I'll go from pH balanced water to things like taking that. But I recommend things like bentonite clay. But if you're worried about your heart, your lungs, ginger root pills, turmeric pills, cayenne pepper pills. If you're not going to take cayenne pepper, they have ones that are called cool cayenne, so you don't have to worry about the 5 minutes of I'm getting heartburn. If you're afraid of that, you need to take hawthorn root. If you're on any kind of medication, you need to do your research and check in with your doctor. So if you're already blood thinners or beta blockers or anything like that, you need to check with your doctor. I'm not a doctor, I'm just sharing my experience. But if it wasn't for these things, I probably wouldn't have lasted as long as I did, to be honest with you, especially with the turmeric. And all right, you guys. Love the night too. Yeah, olive leaf. Oil of oregano pills are really good. What helps me is ashwagandha root. I use that for the brain. Calcium, magnesium, which does real good on the bones. What else? Ginger root for the lungs. Now, when I'm sick, I take Mullein. If I ever get chest congestion, anybody worried about respiratory infections, highly recommend that. It does wonders. Cayenne pepper for the heart. It'll strengthen the heart, cleanses the blood. It does wonders. Really good for the digestive system. So does ginger root. Yeah, they do the same thing to me. Yeah, they do the same thing to me. Yeah, I remember, I want to say maybe second, third year of my targeting. They were calling me Iron Man or something like that. I don't know. It was weird. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. Yeah, AI sucks. It's stupid. I don't like it at all. I don't even like those self-checkout machines. I'm always cussing at them and calling it stupid. But those things will sure take your money real fast. As soon as you put a 20 in, it sucks it up real fast. but it won't seem to know that there's something in the bag and tells you that you need to get assistance. No, I don't. I just need you to take my money so I can go home now. You stupid machine. Yeah, the ashwagandha root. Get you some GABA instead. As far as the horniness goes, I've heard that does have an effect on males. Ashwagandha root. So I'll get you some. Yeah, some GABA. Yeah, it tastes good. Good for you. Um, yeah, and some machine guides, the satellite guides. You guys want to go shopping? Oh my god. Oh god. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm just like, no thanks. All you gotta do is yeah, the VR headset. So the story with that is, in my experience with any kind of um, like 3D or kind of more virtual, when it comes to any kind of like tech. I don't know if you guys have ever played Mario Go Kart and stuff like that, or Sonic the Hedgehog, like all those 3D effects where it's like moving all around. So I get real nauseous. Or those rides, those virtual roller coaster rides where you sit in a chair and the chair is moving. I'd get real sick. So this isn't going to work out. I would just like to know how we're going to go grocery shopping. I mean, I did like the movie Wally, but this is ridiculous. I do not want to be Johnny Five. No, I do take the iodine. I think that's why I eat a lot of. I am
vegetarian, but I do eat shrimp. Iodine. Yeah, I do take iodine drops. I put in my water. You got to be careful with the body. Listen to your body. Don't listen to what I tell you. Like, you know, I don't know. That doesn't resonate with seaweed here. I love seaweed. Kelp. Yep. Got kelp pills. I love all these things. But if things not resonate with you, and I'm not talking about fear, eliminate fear. Listen to your body. And come on to be one with body. Um, and listen to your body. Don't listen to what other people tell you, because you know your body better than anybody else does. Like, even like, I don't want to sit here and say I'm not a doctor. So just take this with a grain of salt, I guess. But even doctors, when they tell me you need to do this and you need to do that, and I'm like, mm. Like, even a fitness instructor who will tell me what I need, but I know what I need. I know what I need, and I know, you know. Yeah, just listen to your own body. Your body knows what's best. You know your body better than anybody does. Yeah, you know your body better than anybody else does. So definitely listen to your body. Yeah, doctors, exactly. Because they're, it's kind of like when you go to a mechanic and take your car in, they're like, it might be the head gaskets. And then you go to another mechanic and they're like, just might be your exhaust. Let's find out. So, body, if you feel like something's not right and your body's telling, well, this is what you need, always listen to your higher self with your gut. Your gut has a brain. Yeah, they use what they've been taught. Yeah, they do use a scientific method. They use what they've been taught. Like these guys are really hitting me really hard now. Yeah, I experiment all. Then I got like, they're disgusting. They'll say on the V2K, ever since you were a little girl. Stranger danger, old fogies. I feel young ones and the old fogies. Then I got one who's like real scrawny and always trying to swing on me like he wants to fight me. Yeah, I think it's kind of fun how a lot of the TIs out here in my town, we got it real bad. Are I don't know of any male targets in this area, only female. Know of 4 other ones. Yeah, it's pretty bad out here. And then we got like major corporations out here. We got NASA's right up the road, Stone Arsenal, computer engineers, um, you know, rocket scientists. All the Nazis moved out here to work with the rocket scientists. You got Von Braun, the whole nine, dude. It's out here. Freemasons on every corner. Bible thumpers, religious. All you're lucky. Yeah, they're completely obsessed with me. You got major corporations out here like Boeing or Raytheon. I mean, just yeah, lightly. But they destroyed any chances of me doing so. Every time I tried to move, they made sure. Yeah, they want to keep me out here and establish. Yeah, they're building all kinds of stuff out here now. Toyota plant, whole nine. Yeah, absolutely. I'm also an overthinker, where I just, I
I'm mostly mind and in spirit. Yeah, these guys are, you know, they're bad. These guys are bad and really need um to be yeah, these guys need to be exposed. Um, you know, I live in a town that engine rock science, so go figure. And use religion as an excuse. Yeah, no, they are psycho. You used to look at them and it's not happening. Yeah, it does. But I also think that's an excuse. Cowards too. One of the biggest cowards I've ever encountered in my life. Like, and they just seem scrawny. Like, I'll be honest with you, some of them kind of seem Python and like look, I don't know, like Middle Eastern or something like that.